Let's make some noise. Come on.
Thank you, Nick Foles. And where have you gone? Nick Foles, wow. I wasn't prepared to see you tonight. Man, makes me think of those pleasant years in Eagles past when we actually had a quarterback. Hey, what's going on, everybody? And welcome to the Final Word with MattyB here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. I was not going to do a show tonight. It was not on the schedule. It was going to be me doing Clear the Ice, but how can I resist waiting till tomorrow night to come back and do a final word, because that's how the schedule broke with everything that has happened or transpired over the last 24 hours. How could I possibly wait? I couldn't. So we decided to do the which is becoming sort of a frequency around here, the Twofer episode of the Final Word and Clear the Ice. As I do have post-game duty tonight. Flyers, Sharks. Flyers up 3-1. I think it's still 3-1. Yes, it is 3-1 as they're getting ready to start the third period. So we're going to we'll transition at some point to the Flyers post-game show at some point after they finish action down in South Philadelphia. But obviously what we're here to talk about is what transpired in LA last night in a complete, utter wheels are off the card, man. It is official. The collapse of 2025 is a real thing. And I hate to be the guy to tell you I told you so, but I'm going to be that guy because I've been saying it since May that this team was destined for failure because it was some poor off-season decisions by Howie Roseman and as some underachieving on the field expectations from some of the players, but not Jalen Hurts. I'm not going to put Jalen Hurts into that boat. My expectations for Jalen Hurts are what everyone's expectations of what Jalen Hurts should be, and that's a game manager. But when you try to make him a focal point or the focal point of the offense, either through necessity or scheme, you're doomed for failure because he's not that kind of quarterback. And I think I know that we have fallen in love with Jalen Hurts as some sort of other entity than what he is. What he is a very good game managing quarterback. But if you're asking him to throw the ball 40 times a game, you're not going to be happy with the results of it more likely than not. But he wasn't the only reason last night that they went down in defeat to the Los Angeles Chargers, 22-19 in overtime. He wasn't, but boy, he definitely tried his best to be the only reason. 5 turnovers, he counted for 5 turnovers in this game, 4 interceptions and a fumble. Just pitiful. Eagles offense managed 1 touchdown. Just a pitiful performance once again by the offense. The defense battling their asses off out there against the one-handed man in Justin Herbert. Did everything they could do to try to keep this team alive, and they just couldn't. They just ran out of energy, which I fear is what is going to be the postscript for the rest of this season. The defense just ran out of energy, and we'll get into more details of where I see the rest of the season sort of wrapping itself up. So obviously that's going to be the main topic, the appetizer and the main course. But for dessert tonight, we got some Phillies information to pass on. Kyle Schwarber's back. Wow. 5 years, $150 million. And what does that mean for the rest of this offseason for the Phillies? What does that mean for the rest of this offseason for baseball? And more importantly, is it official? Which I think it is. The Phillies are indeed going to try to run this back. And how disrespected you as Phillies fans should be by this decision from the Phillies front office to run this thing back. Again, are we expecting different results than what we've seen over the past 4 years? I guess the Phillies are. But Schwarber's back. Rob Thompson was extended, which that's really minor news. He was entering the 2026 season on a dead man walking type deal. Yeah, I'm not really that doesn't change. I don't think it changes the Phillies thought process around Rob Thompson. That was just a, maybe make him feel a little bit better that he had a 1 year more on that contract. I guess make him feel better in case they do decide to fire him some point this season. He'll get paid for next year too. So that's just it. Maybe it's like a severance pay. It's part of his retirement plan. Once he loses his job at some point this year, if he does, he'll get that money for next year. So Rob Thompson back. Kyle Schwarber signed. Edwin Diaz is now a Dodger. Most of Team USA for the World Baseball Classic has been pretty much rounded out. That is your dessert tonight on the show. And then your after dinner mint, if we get to it, will be the Clear the Ice program. Flyers postgame, Flyers Sharks from the arena. Dan Vladar got to start tonight for the Flyers. It is currently 3-1 with about 15 minutes remaining in the game. So maybe we'll get into that game. Maybe we won't. I don't know. I don't know how long this is going to take me to get through. And we're also going to mix in our usual segments, the Day in Philadelphia Sports History, your Of the Night segment, and as well as your card review, all that stuff that you've become familiar with here on the program. So, and now also, as you can see, I started the show off by opening up the phone lines. So I don't want to hear, can you open up the phone lines? I understand you want to vent. I get it. So they're open. We'll get the callers here momentarily within the next few seconds. So the phone lines are open. If you want to jump in, please feel free. All you need to be able to do is talk to me. I don't need to see you. If you don't feel comfortable with a camera or you don't own a camera, you don't need one. Just need a way to communicate with me through a microphone and hear me through some sort of other audible listening device. So phone lines are open. Let's get the show started. But before we do that, let's remind everybody on the network or out there on this network this week, this is what's coming up. Tonight you had the Pittsburgh Sports Tonight program, which aired about 2 hours ago. Really interesting stuff about the Jerry Sandusky thing over in Penn State. Another side of that story. If you missed it, please go ahead and check that out. Prop locks and parlays followed that. And here I am doing the Clear the Ice / or I should say the Final Word / Clear the Ice. Again, there was no Final Word scheduled for tonight. I had post-game soul duty, but how can I resist? Too much going on for me to wait till tomorrow night to do the Final Word. And then tomorrow night, you got the Pittsburgh Sports Desk and me. Thursday night's our big night. Friday, the world premiere of the Philly Friday Frenzy with Big Al. Saturday, some Flyers, Canes, Clear the Ice. And then Sunday, we start it all over again with your Philly AM Sports, Eagles, Raiders, Birds Flyby, and some Clear the Ice action on Sunday night. I think I'm doing a show that Sunday night. I think I am. I don't know. I got that. I have that post game. I don't know if I'm going to do a show or not because it's at like 8 o'clock, the post game. So I might not do one. But we'll have to see. I'm not really sure. So let's strap in, strap on, strap up. Keep your head, hands, and feet inside the car at all times. And let's roll with your Day in Philadelphia sports history on the heels of Kyle Schwarber returning to the Phillies. And the obvious signs indicating that they're going to run it back one more year. Glory be. Tonight, your Day in Philadelphia sports history back in 1982. The Phillies liked a young outfielder who played for the Cleveland Indians so much. His name was Von Hayes. You guys remember this guy, old number 9? But they liked him so much that they traded 5 players. Julio Franco, George Vukovich, Manny Trio, Jerry Baller, and Jerry Willard to the Indians to acquire Von Hayes. Mr. 5 for 1 is what his name became, synonymous here in Philadelphia. Pete Rose actually dubbed that nickname to him when he arrived in Philly. It's funny, Pete Rose also gave Howard Eskin the nickname The King. Pete Rose, man, the king of nicknames. The moniker in jest stuck with Hayes, who perhaps unfairly was suddenly burdened with the responsibility to overperform. In reality, Hayes was a serviceable outfielder for the Phillies. He wasn't remarkable, but if Julio Franco hadn't been part of the deal, that's a big if. The 23-year Major League veteran with a 298 career batting average, Franco, fans would not have been so, hard up against the Hayes move. I think that was my number 3 worst trade in Philadelphia's Phillies history. We did that about, I don't know, it was a while ago. We ran through my worst trades. That was up there. It was top 3. I had to be top 3. It might have been 2. No, Carlton was 2. No, that was the best trade. It had to be 2. Ryan Sandberg's 1. I would imagine I put Von Hayes as number 2. That was a terrible trade. Phillies were on the other side of dominance. They were wrapping up a great run that would only last through the 83 season. And Von Hayes was maybe unfairly and unceremoniously saddled with the idea of being the future rebuilding part of this team. Maybe if he was more sort of used as a role player or a contributor, things might have worked out differently. But we have the tendency here in this town to build up expectations of our sports players, sometimes unrealistic expectations. Yeah, no, say it ain't true, MattyB. Yeah, I know. That's what we do, though. We do it a lot, and we're going to absolutely talk about one of them here in about 5 minutes. But Von Hayes came in with maybe some unrealistic expectations saddled to him, kind of dogged him throughout his time with the Phillies. And but if you kind of look at it through the other side of the glasses, maybe if he would have been part of a serviceable team. Now, don't forget that 84 through 80. If 84 through the end of his time at the Phillies was dreck, 86 wasn't bad, but the Mets were so good it didn't really matter. But 84 to the end of his time in Philadelphia, the Phillies stunk, and Von Hayes might have gotten a bad rep for undeservingly reasons. And of course, being involved in a trade where the Phillies sent yet another. How did the Phillies produce Ryan Sandberg and Julio Franco out of the same farm system and haven't been able to produce squats since then? How does the same farm system produce a Hall of Famer, top 3 second basemen of all time in Ryan Sandberg, and Julio Franco, a fringe Hall of Famer? And maybe because he spent the bulk of his career playing for the Indians, he might have missed his boat for the Hall of Fame. But how does that farm system produce them two? And we can't get a goddamn pitcher in 2025. It's truly remarkable how things have changed. But there you have it. Mr. 5 for 1, Von Hayes, traded to the Phillies on this day back in 1982. And that was your day in Philadelphia sports history, brought to you by the world premiere on Friday night at 9, the Philly Friday Frenzy. Try saying that 10 times fast. Starring our boy Big Al Zafiri. Al's return to the airwaves. You should paint those glasses green, because I'm sure it's going to be some whitewashing going on Friday night. Now, things are not that bad. Don't worry about it. Everything will be fine. Nothing to see here. I don't know. I don't know if Al's going to be that way. Probably won't. But don't forget, it's Friday. It's going to be a few days separated from this disaster. Maybe, the homer meter will reset and everything will be great for the Raiders. But anyway, make sure you're checking that show out to see if I'm wrong. That's Friday night at 9 p.m., the world premiere of the Philly Friday Frenzy. So, Kyle's deal is now official. Scott, yeah, right, Jose. It is. It's official. 5 years, 150. We're going to get to that in a second, Jose. And I'm going to tease this. Well, that's not a tease. You've tuned in here before. You kind of know where I stand on this. I'm not necessarily down on it. Kyle Schwarber's a good player. I mean, he had a lot of teams wanting his services. But he's not a good player here. You know what I mean? Do you understand the context of what I'm trying to say here? He's part of a machine here that doesn't work. He's a really big part of that machine. He's a big part of the core. He's a big part of why we have not been able to win a World Series. And I think it's a fair estimate to say that. I'm not saying Kyle Schwarber's garbage. I'm not. I mean, he commanded a lot of attention, and $30 million a year ain't no popsicle stick. I get that. And I'm sure he would go off and hit 60 home runs for the Reds, Orioles, and he might do it here in Philadelphia. But when it comes down to it, he is one of the poster children for not winning a World Series. All right, he is. He's part of what's not worked here. He's not the only thing, but he's part of that. And my big thing this offseason was changing the DNA of this team. And I think it's evident today, this evening, Dave Dombrowski's not interested in that. John Middleton's not interested in that for whatever reason. That it be financial reasons, or too committed to Wheeler, Nola, Harper, Turner. And that's a real thing. But whatever reason, they're committed to running it back. And I honestly believe that is so disrespectful to this fan base, to try to make us believe that after 4 years of it not working, all of a sudden it's going to work. You might as well have Mike Lauro working up there in the Phillies front office, because that was with the load of jack cheese he gave me all last season. Oh, it's a different team. No, it ain't. Same team. And guess what? We're going to hear it again heading into 26. They signed whatever. Let's throw some rando out there. They re-signed Max Kepler. It's a different team. yeah, it's a different team. It's not. That's the problem. It's the same team. Now they're imminently getting close to re-signing JT Realmuto. Again, a very good catcher. And a catcher that I honestly thought we should re-sign because, well, we just don't have any other options. But the motive around re-signing JT now seems to be we're running it back. That's what upsets me because it's not going to work. I'm going to make a proclamation right now on December the 9th, 2025. If we run it back, and it might be news for you, it might not. But on December 9th, 2025, if we run this thing back, we're not winning the World Series. I said it. 10 months into the future, we're going to be sitting talking about the same damn thing we've been talking about over the last 4 years. We got to change things up. Can't do this. But we can't change it up now because we're deeper into this core. Because now Schwarber's on the hook for 4 more years. I'm telling you, man, I understand it. Not bagging on Schwarber. He's been one of the more consistent regular season players we've had over the past 2 seasons, evident by that immense jump in his batting average. But he's a one-trick friggin' pony, man. And when I mean that, it's straight across the board. Home run or nothing, and they don't play defense. And he's a poster child of what has not worked in the past. So, yeah, Kyle Schwarber's back. 5 years, $150 million. Hallelujah. But I digress. All right, let's bring on a caller. Been waiting patiently. Michael Papernick, how are you?
What's up, Matty?
I'm doing well. How about you, Mike?
Well, we'll start off with the Phillies and then we'll end with the Eagles because it's both a train wreck. The big thing about this contract with Schwarber is how much Harper's going to cry in the offseason. He's only making $25 million, and he's going to want more money, which means trade his ass after next season, recoup the whole minor league system, and just go. This team is done. Once they signed, when I saw they brought Robbie back for an extension, you can spin doctor it any way you want. It's a wasteful of money. They had a chance to get rid of him at sometime the season, didn't have to pay him after the season. Now they're on the hook for another year, which he'll probably be here. The lineup's going to be Turner, Schwarber, Harper, guaranteed bomb. You might see Rincona's bat fifth, Realmuto, and Crawford. It's going to be Rinconas and Crawford are going to be the only 2 new guys in this whole thing. That's it. Now, If me now, since you're not worried about pitching, I wouldn't even sign JT. Screw it. Put your money on Alonso. Put Harper back in right field. Put Alonso first. Just bash the ball then. Just put the 3 bash guys in there and go with Marchand as your catcher. I mean, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I listen, Mike. You said a mouthful there, and it's all valid. And you know what? I didn't even touch on the fact what this means for the rest of the offseason for the Phillies, right? The payroll is now back to pretty much, with maybe the exception of one more contract, which would be the Realmuto deal, and maybe some of the Suarez money. I mean, really, what do you have left to spend? You don't have that much. You have maybe one more move to make. And it's going to be Realmuto. He's going to be the one move you're going to make, and it's going to once again signal the fact that we're running it back. And yeah, you're right. Another year of Schwarber batting second, or batting first, or batting sixth, not batting fourth, where he's supposed to be batting. But another year of that nonsense, and another year of Rob Thompson. Now, for the Rob Thompson thing, I think they're giving him a severance pay there because I honestly, you know what, with the Don Mattingly stuff being imminent now. I don't know if Thompson makes it through the year, honestly. I really don't.
Yeah, but it's a waste of money. Why are you going to be on the hook for another year on a guy who's going to bumble the year up? The Phillies regressed since the World Series. Pennant, first round the year afterwards, first round last year. Let's give the guy an extension. My God. But Middleton wants to be the George Steinbrenner of the South. Well, George Steinbrenner would have canned his ass 3 years ago. Yeah. So it wouldn't even have blinked an eye. And I can tell you right now, I ain't going to say Schwarber wouldn't be here, but once Harper started crying about money, he probably would have been traded. I mean, he's making $25 million, only playing 90 games a year. Well, come on, man. You saw he just had that blood transfusion, right?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was. He's sitting on his couch getting blood through what was the machine it was going through? Some sort of purifier or what was that?
It's supposed to help him heal, like energize and heal yourself better and stuff. And it's like he's a DH, and the Phillies bumbled that up. And like I said, you might as well just go in all Bash Brothers. Just go sign Alonso and just don't even try to trade Bomb. Don't worry. Just run it back. Just get Alonso here and just bash the ball because, the pitching staff's a mess. The coach got the manager back who's a mess. I mean, third place. We're going to be in third place. I'm with you. I told my buddy this. Look, the only team who's messing this up even more is the Mets.
Yeah.
No, the Mets. That's right. I mean, so the Marlins might get second place.
They might. They got a young team, man. They got some really good hitters down and really good contact guys that I want on my team. I'd rather have that than this, man, because again, it's not, and I really want to be clear about this. I respect what Schwarber's done. He's definitely been one of the more positive stories. He's changed in terms of maybe he's paying more attention to his own personal health and whatnot. And yes, his batting average over the past 2 seasons has gone up, but he's still a poster child for what has not worked here. That's my number one concern. Are we running this thing all the way to the ground? I hate it.
The philosophy's not changing with Dombrowski. The only thing good that he's done now, I get he's gotten rid of the catchers of the future. I understand that, but he didn't get rid of Crawford or Painter or Miller or Rincon. I mean, if you're gonna go, like I said, if you're gonna go all in. I'd make the phone call to Pittsburgh and see what they want for Paul Skeens, because they offered $120 million to Schwarber. I mean, Baltimore if I was Baltimore, I would have offered him like $170. They could have got him. It would have been the greatest thing to happen. That would have been the greatest thing to happen in Philadelphia because he's going to bat second. He's going to get his 100 RBIs, his 40 home runs, and he's going to hit. Not one grand slam, not one 3-run homer, a bunch of 2-run homers because there's only going to be Turner getting on base or Stott. Nobody else is. Our outfield's going to be Marsh, Marsh, Crawford,
and Rojas.
Rojas and Rincon. No, I hope Rincon's Jr.'s out there. I mean, this is going to be – this is bad. Now I got to get off the Phillies. All right, the other show. That Jalen Hurts needs to be benched. All these people are all I've heard on these podcasts, they got the Raiders, the Commanders, the Bills. They should go at least 3-1. They're going to get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. They couldn't score points against a bad team last night. What are you going to do when they got to get to the playoffs in the first round? You got a head coach who's clueless. You got the whole just the whole thing has to be. He has to go. A.J. Brown gets his third 100-yard game of the season. Don't cry, but they're 0-3. They might as well go back to letting Jalen throw for 80 yards a game. They were winning.
Yeah, I mean, now listen, Papernick, there's so much going on with this football game last night. And again, the one thing that I really find amusing throughout all this is just the surprise that a lot of fans are. When did this start getting so bad? I mean, I can't believe he played like this. If you make Jalen Hurts throw the ball 40 times a game, this is the result more times than not. I'm just sorry. It's just the way he is. He's not that type of quarterback.
No, he can't throw the ball more than maybe 30 times, 25 at the most. That's where he's at. That's his thing. Did I see a couple little different things in the offense? Yeah, I saw one where he did like a 2-3 steps drop and he ripped it down the middle. That I like that. That's what they need to do. But you're wearing out a defense that's 25th in the league. They were on the field 11 more minutes than others, and you're the worst team in football at 3 and outs. This team is a shambles. I mean, the only thing that can happen is that the Rams, somebody just messes up. The Eagles wound back in the win, somehow slipped through the playoffs. I mean, because Kansas City ain't in there. So the whole thing's wide open now for anybody. But yeah, that's a mess. And you got AJ Brown. You see, he's back. I saw a thing. He's back in jail and hurts now.
Yeah, I saw that too. But no one's back in Nick Sirianni though. Not one word of confidence for that guy. Not a word.
Did you see Troy Aikman? What they said last night? He said, "You see the face on Howie and Jeffrey Lurie."
Yeah, I saw they sent up to Howie the camera angle up there, and they both looked very upset. But and Kaepernick, this is just a great point that and I'm going to unpack all that as we move through the show. Why should Howie Roseman be upset? This is his plan. This is what he put together, man. I mean, this is his thing.
I think what it is more like he knows he's got to answer to Jeffrey Lurie now with what's going on, and he's and he's probably trying to like, listen, let's see what we can do in the next 4 games. We got 3 bad teams and we can win out maybe, and we'll get hot going into the playoffs. Beating 3 bad teams ain't getting you hot going into the playoffs. You can tell me anything you want. This team is. If I was them, I would have fired him today. I would put Vic Fangio as the head coach because they would respect him as a team, I think. And bring somebody else in and bench Jalen against the Raiders. Let McKee go out there and somebody's got to. This team's a mess. They just got it. This is a mess, Matty.
No, they do, and it's a shame because the defense, which ironically is the side of the ball that got pilfered the most in the offseason, and not, in my opinion, did not get properly replaced. But if it wasn't for this defense, this football team would be 1-12 right now, with the only win being against the Rams earlier this season, or maybe 2-11. I'll give them 2-11 against that second Giants game.
Well,
and they're the ones that are holding this season together by a thread.
Well, and it's a 25th ranked defense. That's 25th.
Right, it is. But you see what they're doing out there. I mean, listen, but 25th ranked, yes. And that's, I think, a product of the fact that they're playing 3/4 of the game. And that's going to be the downfall of this team heading down the stretch. And as I said, we'll get into breaking some of that down. But I agree with you.
How do you lose a game when you sack a quarterback, 7, 8 times?
7 times. They got to Herbert 7 times.
And hit him how many times?
To start the game. He's one-handed in the whole game.
I was sitting here just laughing. I was talking to my buddy, and we were just going off about this game. I can't. The next week, if this has got two. I don't care if they win the next three out of 4. This is 2022 written all over the 10-1 season. I don't care if they win out. This has got this written all over it. It is. It's bad. And the head coach has no clue how to be a head coach because he's just a CEO. He don't know how to write a ship, and it's the Titanic, and it's going down and down. And maybe we'll get our wish next year. Maybe we'll get a John Gruden here.
It's going to be interesting how this season wraps up, Mike. Thanks a lot, brother.
All right, Matty.
And we'll talk tomorrow night, man.
All right. You have a good night.
All right, Michael Kaepernick. Yeah, listen. I mean, by the way, the phone lines are open. If you feel like you want to vent, I'm here. I'll listen to all sides. If you want to come on and defend some people, I'll listen to that too. But let's unpack this Eagles game. Kaepernick brought up some good points, and I do want to get in. I want to throw my 2 cents worth in. Edwin Diaz is out of the end. Yes, on his way to LA to be the Dodgers. I guess what an interesting little back end of that bullpen they got going on in LA. That's what I'm talking about, man. The defending champs, 2-time defending champs, getting more and more better. So Edwin Diaz is on his way to the Dodgers. Kyle Schwarber signs a 5-year. Yes, he did. Star Wars. Not a Schwarber fan. Yes, either my well. Again, I'm going to circle back to that, but let's talk about this Eagles game because this is obviously why people have come tonight, and this is the reason why we're all here, is to talk about the 22-19 loss to the Chargers in overtime in a game that is purely – it's funny because again, I'm going back to what has been like all season. This is something that's prepared me. I mean, watching what happened last night didn't really shock me that much because I've been prepared for this all year. I've seen this game every week this season, and that's key here. This has been the same type of game since week one. The offense sputters, defense holding the game on, holding back the dam as much as they can, and there's leaks going on all over the place, and they got their hands, their feet, their heads trying to stop all these leaks going through, and eventually they get overtaken by the water. That's what it's been like all season. Now, early in the season, when everybody had fresh legs and the defense was zipping around the field, they were making plays at the moments they needed to make them. Sometimes they were getting luck, but they were making plays. The Miles Sanders fumble in week one, the Travis Kelce, I look back too soon, interception in week two. We can go up and down the list. They were getting the plays. Well, those plays have gone. For whatever reason, they're not as zippy anymore. They're not springing their step. They're not able to, recover fast enough. I don't know, but those plays are gone. But the offense has been the constant all season. It's just not been good. I said this heading into the season. If Saquon Barkley could not replicate what happened in 2024, if he could not put together a similar like season, not exactly. It's very hard for me to want to ask somebody to account for 2,500 all-purpose yards 2 straight seasons. I wasn't asking for that. But last night, Saquon's numbers, 20 carries for 122 yards. 52 of those 122 yards were on that big run, that big touchdown run late in the game. His first big touchdown run of the season. Week 14. So you take that run out of the mix. Saquon carried the ball 20 times for 70 yards for an average of about 3.5 yards to carry. That's actually not that bad. Not Saquon Barkley good, and not good enough for this team, but it's not that bad. But if Saquon could not replicate what he did in 2024 to some facet, which he has not done up to this point heading into week 15. By the way, the Flyers, it is final 4-1 winners over the Sharks. We will get to the Clear the Ice program a little bit later on. So the Flyers do get the win tonight down there at the arena, 4-1 over San Jose. But if Saquon could not replicate what he did in 2024, and if you were forced to put the ball in the arm of Jalen Hurts, it wasn't going to work out the way everybody wanted it to work out. It wasn't going to happen. There was no repeat of Super Bowl in the immediate future of this team. Jalen Hurts is not that kind of quarterback. He's never been that kind of quarterback. Aside for 2022, which he had caught the NFL by storm, much like Carson Wentz caught him by storm in 2017. But Jalen Hurts is just not that guy. And last night, oh my God, last night was the epitome of not being that guy. Let's break some of this down. 21 for 40 for 240 yards on an average of 6 yards to throw, 4 interceptions, a fumble, was sacked 1 time for 9 yards, a QBR of 27.3, and a 31.2 rating. A 31.2 rating. And of course, let's not forget about the 2 turnovers on the same play. I mean, listen. It is Tanner time. 100% it's Tanner time. But what's more concerning to me is beyond this season. Kyle Quinn mentioned it on the Birds Blast last week. If this season goes the way it's going to go, all right, it ain't ending in a back-to-back Super Bowl year. There ain't no dynasty happening this year. With the Kansas City Chiefs falling apart at the seams, as Michael Kaepernick pointed out, well, they're now 6-7. They are officially been eliminated from the AFC West divisional championship race for the first time in, 8 years? All right? I mean, they still got a shot at the playoffs. But you had a perfect opportunity with the Chiefs dynasty looking like it's officially ending and right in front of their eyes. You had the opportunity to begin your own dynasty, something that this fan base is long overdue for. There's not a fan base in the entire world that deserves a dynasty than the Philadelphia Eagle fan base. There isn't. And they were bamboozled and you were hoodwinked by your fraud GM. You believed that you could stand losing 7 contributors from a Super Bowl team, that you were going to get the production from lesser grade free agents. You were going to get production from draft picks that have not shown the ability to step up into the moment, but all of a sudden they were going to. They did nothing to address any of the problems on the offense, assuming, I guess, that Saquon Barkley was going to repeat what he did in 2024. And with all the warning signs and all the flashing red lights and the flags, and me yelling in the background in the wilderness in May, hey, it's something right here. Saquon is not, if he can't produce, and if the defense cannot replicate what they did in 2024, your quarterback is not equipped to carry the football team. And that's not being dismergent on Jalen Hurts. He's a very good quarterback. He still is. He's not elite. And we do not provide him enough support. Making that man throw the football 40 times last night is a recipe for disaster. And please, for the life of you, if anything out there, you Homer fans, and I know some of you are, there's some Homer fans. Yeah. There's some Homer fans out there that are standing their ground, and I respect the hell out of you for that. I really do. Welcome to my world. Welcome to MattyB's world. You Homers out there that are standing your ground. While the world is burning down around you, you're telling people there's nothing to see here. We're going to be fine. I respect you. I do. I respect your delusionality. I love it. But there's a lot of Homer fans now that are backpedaling so fast. They're coming right up out their shoes. Backpedaling everything. Oh, well, I'm okay with, not winning a Super Bowl every year. Every other year will be fine. Dynasty doesn't mean that much to me. It is what it is. And that's really pathetic, honestly. It's pathetic. It's pathetic that you talk yourself into something, and then when it blows up in your face, you backtrack it all. Man, stand your ground like a man. Take your medicine. I take it every day. Boy, and it keeps me young. That's what the funniest part about this all is. And the future of what the 2020, I said this on I don't know if it was on this program or on the Birds Blast, can't keep track anymore. If the Eagles were to lose this game against the LA Chargers last night, if they lost, and if they lost in the same depressing, stagnant offensive way that they've been losing all season, that I was going to make a bold prediction and claim that the Eagles were not going to win another football game for the rest of the season. And that they would finish 8-9 and out of the playoffs. And I'm sticking with it. I am here to tell you right now, I do not believe, based on what I've seen, and based on the fact that, yes, I know we got the Commanders twice, Bills, and the Raiders coming up. I am making a prediction. The Philadelphia Eagles will not win another football game in 2025. They will finish the season 8-9. Now, the collapse is already on. There's no getting away from that, because a collapse is defined in various ways. But the collapse is on 100%. This is 2023 revisited. And the same people that 6 weeks ago, with the win shit, so I don't care, as long as they win. You're a fool, because you saw the problems. You saw it, and you're like, a win's a win. You saw it. You talked yourself out of thinking it wasn't going to be a collapse. You talked yourself out of thinking this was going to be a different team. You were talking like a Phillies fan, like a homer. This is a different team. No, it's not. Same offense. It's different defense. I'll give you that, but it's the same offense. And not to mention, you played a team in the Chargers last night, and Kaepernick was kind of going off on the defense, 25th ranked in all football. And yes, they've fallen off of their perch a little bit, but they're playing their asses off, man. They have not quit. There's some questions on some players on the offensive side of the ball and whether or not they've quit on this team. Has A.J. Brown quit? I don't know. He might have. Are some other players trending on quitting? How much longer does Jalen Hurts keep going at this, right? But they're playing their asses off. And for their credit, they got to Herbert last night 7 times. I guarantee you, Justin Herbert woke up this morning in so much pain. He must have been so high on painkillers when he went to bed last night. There's no way. He got sacked 7 times. Who knows how many times he got hit in that hand. Fumbled the football. I mean, the Eagles forced 3 turnovers last night. One of those turnovers was on that crazy play. So the defense their defense forced 2. But at the end of the day, Justin Herbert rallied the troops. And what was the most effective play that the Chargers offense without a healthy Justin Herbert was terrible last night. Absolutely terrible. Their offensive line couldn't keep me away from sacking him. And what was the play that they went to and that ended up winning the day for them? That was the quarterback draw, RPO. Justin Herbert carved them up at the end of that game on a gas defense. Herbert's numbers on the day, again, not over staggering. What was he? He was 12 for 26 for 139 yards, averaged 5.3 yards a pass, an interception, and a touchdown with a quarterback rating of a 33 and a rating of a 59.6. And the win. The gutsy warrior-like win against the Philadelphia Eagles. The sky is falling, folks. The sky is falling, and this ain't a drill. The collapse is a real thing. It's a real thing. 6 total turnovers by these two teams in the second half, in the first half. 6 total turnovers. Not a very clean game. The ball was all over the place. It was on the ground everywhere. Of course, Jalen Hurts has 4 interceptions, which stands out with all of it. 2 of those interceptions, by the way, were down the middle of the field in the Jalen Hurts Bermuda Triangle. But yet he threw 2 interceptions going to the middle of the field. He completed 2 passes to the middle of the field last night. 2. 1 in the first quarter and 1 in overtime. They were the only 2 passes to the middle of the field he completed. 2 of his interceptions were to the middle of the field. The Eagles are also now faced with a string of games, 3 of them now, over the next 13 days. So that is the basis of my bold prediction of why the Eagles will not win another football game in 2025. They will not. They will finish 8-9. They got 3 games over the next 13 games against 2 teams that have 2 wins in the Buffalo Bills, and then the Commanders are on the outside of that, so I didn't factor them into the second Commanders game. Now, for those of you who have 2023 vibes or nostalgia, remember that season. There was a game as the collapse was ongoing in that season against the Arizona Cardinals in Philadelphia, much like this game against the Raiders. Cardinals came into the game, I think, with 2 or 3 wins at the time, and they ended up beating the Eagles like 34-19. I'm going with the Raiders next week. Hands down. I'm going with the Raiders. And I'm going with the Commanders, and I'm going with the Bills, and I'm going with the Commanders. This football team will not win another game because the defense, the only thing keeping this season together, is going to unravel at the seams. They're just going to be too tired to play football anymore. They're getting nothing from the offense. Maybe they could put the positivity bunny out there in the middle of the field and he can play defense. The defense is going to wear this team down. And that's the only thing keeping it afloat. Do I feel it was smart? It was smart for the Mets not to resign. Listen, I don't know what they're doing, Bruce. They let Hensley go. They're letting Diaz go. AJ Minter's the only one they have left there. They got to be looking at somebody else. I don't know what the situation is with the Mets. I mean, but it's funny with Diaz, man. He kept getting promoted, demoted. He was the closer this week. He's the setup guy next week. I mean, he couldn't find a spot, and they obviously didn't have confidence in him by bringing in Ryan Helsley. They brought in AJ Minter as well. I mean, I don't know if the Mets were committed to Diaz. I mean, he was lights out in 22, but then, what was that year, 21? Was that the year 21 he was lights out? What was the year that he got hurt in the WBC? That was in 22. Right? Or 23. 22, he was lights out. 23, he got hurt. Hasn't really been the same pitcher after coming back from that Achilles. So I don't know. But the Dodgers were certainly smart enough to do it. The back end of that bullpen now. But I feel they should get Alonso go and then rebuild as they are stupid. I feel they should let Alonso go and then rebuild as they are stupid. Well, I don't think Alonso's going back to the Mets. He opted out of his player option. Maybe he's trying to hold them hostage for some more money. And it'd be interesting to see where Alonso ends up. I would have loved to have Alonso here, man. Telling you. Finally get a cleanup hitter, a right-hand power bat. Someone's going to play defense. Move Harper to DH. Tell you, man. I don't like this whole running it back crap, man. I really don't. Maybe the Phillies can get Alonso and move Harper to right field and have the three power hitters and Bryce Alonso. And that's what we were just talking to me and Michael Papernick about. I mean, maybe that's what their plan is. They're going to go Bash Brothers. They're just going to have 125 home runs spread around 2, 3, and 4 positions of the lineup and just hope that they slug their way, which again doesn't work. We've seen that. I still hold out hope, man. Alonso could be here. Absolutely hold out hope. Absolutely. Let's go to the final word, Eagles stat pack from last night real quick, and then I'm going to take some more callers. Eagles scored 6 points in the first half last night, 13 in the second half. They have now scored 167 points in first half play, 12.8 points a game. And they scored 122 second half points, 9.3. Eagles are averaging 9.3 points in the second halves of football games in 2025. And we sit here going into week 15, still wondering about the offensive identity of this football team. I feel you're right, as I think it would be the best for the Phillies, and we have Trey Turner and JT too. Well, we don't have JT yet, unless something's happened in the last 10 minutes that I didn't see, but he still hasn't re-signed officially. I don't like the DNA of this team, Bruce. I think the signing of Schwarber signals to me that they're running it back, which hasn't worked, and I don't think it's going to work. I would much have rather have taken that money somewhere else, maybe spread it around against 3 or 4 different players, a la Billy Bean. I don't know. The Eagles were 0 for 2 in the red zone last night. They are now 22 for 31 for 70.9% effective. They committed 6 penalties for 53 yards, 97 penalties now in the year for 7.4 penalties a game for 718 penalty yards. The march to 1,000 penalty yards is on. 718 penalty yards through 14 games. They're averaging 55.2 yards in penalties a game. They did force 3 turnovers in that game, which now brings their total up to 16, which is a little bit over 1 a game. They committed 5 turnovers, which brings their total up to 13, about 1 a game. Jalen got sacked once for 9 yards, 28 sacks now on the season. They got to Herbert 7 times last night for 31 sacks now on the year, and they were 0 for 0 for a third straight week on fourth down effectiveness, as that part of their game has seemed to have disappeared. But it is Tanner time, folks. It's Tanner time. It's time to reassess what we got for the future. 2025 is over. And I hate to be that bearer of that bad news for you. The collapse is here. There's nothing more to win in 2025. You had the opportunity to repeat a Super Bowl championship. You had the opportunity to start a dynasty, and you let your fraud GM swindle it away from you. It's time to shake things up. And let's shake things up by taking a caller. Joe Hale, what's up?
How are you?
I'm well, Joe. How are you?
I'm good. I said this to Mike yesterday, and Tanner Jalen Hurts should one-way ticket out of here. But I don't think Tanner McKee's the answer.
No, I don't think either. Absolutely not.
I think you go get a real offensive coordinator and a quarterback coach to work with whoever they draft. Or go out there and get like a Kenny Pickett. But we already had Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, we already had him.
So
No, I feel you, Joe. And this again, and that's why this has got such ramifications. And this is what it's going to be an interesting offseason because change if they don't win a Super Bowl. And that's what it's all about. It's not about getting to this whole, well, they're going to go 3-1 down the stretch. They got the Raiders and the Commanders twice. Who cares? The eye on the prize was the Super Bowl. It wasn't winning the division and getting to the playoffs. That wasn't the expectation. The expectation was repeating as Super Bowl champion, starting a dynasty. That's gone. That's over. That's not happening. Right. So now what is the future? What's the ramifications for 2026 and beyond? There's got to be something done. Nick Sirianni cannot live on taking this team to a Super Bowl twice, but also leading this team through 2 epic collapses. They sort of wash each other out, don't they?
I don't think he comes back. I really hope that he gets the Doug Peterson treatment, goes to the Super Bowl, wins it, and then gets fired. But I want to talk about the Phillies. Jason Stark brought up a good point that from what he heard, he's in winter meetings. He said the Phillies aren't done in the outfield. He heard Castellanos gone, Stott gone, and Bohm gone. Bohm from Seattle right now is picking up steam.
And all those 3 players you mentioned, I definitely hope they're all exited out of here. But I think we've talked about this before. I'm concerned about what the additional price is going to be because is anybody taking Alec Bohm off our hands alone? No. Alec Bohm's going to have to be part of something. There's another player involved, a prospect potentially. And that's why
to pay part of his deal.
What's that?
I like what the Phillies did, though, with the Schwarber deal. I'm going to tell you why. You backload it. You trade him after 3 years.
If he has any value left.
Yes. The next big key to drop, I don't think Alonso signs anywhere right now. Bellinger to the Yankees. Again, that's what everybody's reporting. Kyle Tucker is a name to watch for the Phillies.
Okay.
Because here's why. Remember what happened with Bryce Harper in free agency?
Mm-hmm.
Could that happen? Wait and see.
You mean like a bidding war between him and like Manny Machado? That thing? Is that what you're talking about?
No, the last minute signing.
Well, yeah, Alonso did the same thing last year. He didn't sign until almost started spring training. So
Alonso to Philly would be huge.
I don't know if they can afford it. I don't know. But yeah, it would be. It'd be great.
Middleton said he has stupid money to spend. He tweeted it today at the Twofer sign.
Whatever.
But
stupid, yeah.
My next priority for the Phillies is bringing back JT on a 2-year deal. But it's not going to happen until after the holiday. I heard that.
Well, we'll see. I think they have to bring JT back because there's just no other options. We've been saying that all offseason. But what are they doing with the rest of the outfield? What are they doing with Alec Bohm? What are they doing with Bryson Stott? We need another pitcher. We need some work in the bullpen. This better not be it.
No. They were close on a deal with a right-handed pitcher from Japan.
I saw that too.
So, I want to talk the Red Hot Flyers, which the game's final.
Got the win tonight, 4-1.
What is your thoughts on the goaltending?
On Dan Vladar and Sam Ersson?
And Lehigh Valley. Some of them have been rocked.
Well, my thoughts are this, and it goes through the Flyer curse of goaltender since Pelle Lindbergh died. That's what the plan is. Like it or not, they're waiting for Bjornsson to be ready to take his shot with the Flyers, and they don't spend it. You don't spend a second-round draft pick on a goalie just to spend a second-round draft pick. There's some hope there. He's going to be the next one given an opportunity. Hopefully sooner than later. He's first year as a pro, first full season as a pro at this level, AHL. You got Igor Zaradin, who's still over in Russia, should be coming over in the spring. And he's the next one because he was taken in the 3rd round of that same draft. Matter of fact, the next pick after Bjornsson by the Flyers was Sorokin. So they went back-to-back goalies in that draft. And they did that for a reason. Either they had pre-warning about the Carter Hart thing or, well, I don't know what. But they took 2 goalies in a draft back-to-back for a reason.
You mentioned Carter Hart. Did you hear what happened? He's injured
I
now.
know he's hurt, right?
Yes, he tweaked his hamstring.
Well, he hasn't played in years, so he's got to wake those muscles up, man. But anyway, the plan is to grow from within. I don't think they're going out after any kind of there's really nothing out there free agency as well, but they're going to want to they're wanting to grow a goalie from within, and that takes time. And that's going to be what holds this team back ultimately from winning a cup, is getting that last piece to fall. As far as where their progression is, the next 2 in the shoot now, Kovasov, you can talk a little bit about him. I don't know where he projects anymore. He fell out of favor, but Bjornsson at the very least bit, maybe, I don't know, next year he could maybe be backing somebody up here. I don't know, and it's a slow process, but there is some hope.
Would you let Lachenko get traded next year?
Would I trade him?
Yes.
I trade him this year for Hughes. I went Quinn Hughes. I trade him and Porter Martone today for Quinn Hughes.
I think it's going to go down to the deadline for NHL.
We'll see. Well, Vancouver will be smart enough for that because it's a seller's market.
And Phillies are close to agreeing on the deal with Don Mattingly as bench coach.
Nah, I called it, man. You heard it here first, Joe. I said it.
No,
I said it last year. No, you did not. I did. After I did.
I said it at the beginning of the offseason.
I've been talking about Don Mattingly to the Phillies since they fired Girardi. That's who I've been talking about. It looks like it's a reality. And then that's obviously, it's funny to me too, man. Rob Thompson, I don't know if he's got to see it, right? I mean, he's got to see Mattingly's being brought here for what the reason he's being brought here for, right? To be that safety net when Thompson fails, or if he fails. That's why Mattingly's being brought here.
Is it?
Of course it is. There's no other reason.
No. The other one is experience as a manager, too.
Yeah, for what reason? To become the manager.
Because his son's the GM. Well, he was on MLB Network, and he said the Phillies want to spend money.
Who, Don Mattingly said that? Or Preston?
Yeah, his son. Preston.
That's your GM.
Yeah.
Listen, of course they're going to say it, and they did. They did spend money, but is it money that's going to improve this team, or is it money that just tells you we're running it back? Joe, if they're running it back, that scares me because it's not going to work, man. How many more times have we got to do this?
It does, but I asked somebody else, one of my buddies used to cover MLB, and he goes, if they go on strike, what about the Schwarber deal? And it would carry over.
Yeah, there'll be some sort of grandfather clause, like 7 years out from these last contracts that thing will kick in, or something like that. There will be a grandfather clause kicked in, yeah.
And he wishes there was a salary cap because the Dodgers would be screwed. The Phillies would be okay.
Well, we might be under the cap, but I don't know if we're okay. That's a relative question. Listen, I'm not prepared to think about that right now. I'm just going to live in the moment of 2026, and then I'll start getting little. By the time the Phillies get eliminated next year, that's when I'll start worrying about the CBA. But I don't want to think about it because I don't want to lose more time that we've lost. I hate those damn work stoppages. I hate them.
I found out where the AAA All-Star Game is going to be this year.
Where is it at this year, Joe?
It's at Citizens Bank.
So they are going to host it at the bank?
The bank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. It's going to be a happening place down there.
Yes. So the draft is at the convention center.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
My tickets are real. They said my buddy used to work for Phillies, and that they're going to be like $20 for draft tickets. That's worth it.
No, yeah, you get to hang out with, you get to see GM. Yeah, I'd go there in a heartbeat, man. Absolutely, I'd be there every day, just chilling out in the audience, man. No, it's gonna be a big weekend. Cannot wait for that. Big weekend, or big week actually.
And the Eagles will lose against the Raiders. I called it too.
I don't think they're gonna win another game. 8-9, they missed the playoffs.
I think they beat Washington.
So you got them going 9-8,
and then they come home and lose. Yes.
And making the playoffs?
No. Dallas. No, does Dallas on the tiebreaker?
So no, Dallas has got to win out, and the Eagles got to lose. Dallas has got to win every single game they have left. If the Eagles win one more game, it's pretty much over. But stranger things have happened, and boy, oh boy, that's going to be funny.
Yeah, speaking of stranger things, how about Philip Rivers coming out of retirement?
Yeah, listen, that's you know what? Hey, on a sincere note, man, Dan Jones. Listen, man, I feel so sorry for that dude. You know, revitalized his career. And then he goes down with an ACL, man. And then what? Anthony Richardson's been out for, he's been out for like 3 months with a broken face bone. Man, that sucks, man. That sucks. Hey, why not? Old man Rivers, get him in there, man. Let's do it.
You want to hear something funny? He has 10 kids.
Who, Philip Rivers?
Yes.
He's got the money. Future Hall of Famer, Joe.
Okay. Well, good show.
All right, man. We'll talk tomorrow. So, yeah, we weren't going to do a show today. I was going to do post-game, but we're going to do a twofer. Matter of fact, I got to get to the post-game. So let me get on with this, Joe. We'll talk tomorrow. All right, brother?
Yep.
Joe Hale. All right. Eagles will not win another football game for the rest of 2025. Phillies running it back. May not win another baseball game in 2026. We are going to get into the hot stove tomorrow about some of these moves that have already been made. Edwin Diaz being one of those moves going out to LA. We'll talk some World Baseball Classic, Team USA, as Kyle Schwarber's also headed back to that this year or this coming season. We'll get into that with some of the names that have been announced that are going to be playing for America. But let's get into let's do our Of the Night segment, and then we're going to transition right to Clear the Ice, and we're going to wrap this bad boy up. So let's do Of the Night, and then we'll get into Clear the Ice. All right, the other night segment tonight actually is sort of built itself over the last 24 hours. Flyers made a trade. If you guys did not notice this, I think it happened today or yesterday. They sent their fourth round pick, Ethan Sampson, was sent to the Tampa Bay Lightning organization, and in return, we got a player from the Lightning who's now down in Lehigh. So we're going to actually use him tonight as our prospect report. The newest member of the Flyer organization. And let's pull his stuff up right now. Do I even have it loaded up here? Sure as don't. I mean, pull it up. Man, are you kidding me? Man, oh man, oh man. All right, let's give me a second. Then maybe I suck at it. I had it ready to go. There he is. All right. So yeah, this guy was acquired by the Flyers within the last 24 hours. He is the 6'5", 218-pound right-handed defenseman, Roman Schmidt, a third-round pick in 2021 of the Lightning. 6'5". Woo! It's a big boy. He's all slow movements until an opponent gets in his range along the boards. Then he strikes. His closeouts are forceful. He plasters attackers to the glass, pins them with his free hand, and knocks the puck away with the stick. All right, so, but he's a right-handed defenseman. Now, does this guy have a future in the National Hockey League? I don't know. A 2021 draft pick, still muddling his way through the AHL, played, as you can see by this picture, with the Syracuse Crunch, which are the Lightning's AAA or AHL affiliate. He's a little bit of a, right-hand defenseman, 6'5", and you're going to give up a player that you drafted as well in the in the 21 draft in the 6th round, I believe Samson was. Hey, it's an upgrade for me. One of the problem areas of this hockey team, one of the more prevalent problem areas of the Flyers, is trying to find some competent blue liners. And this guy will bring at least some force to that. Now, again, will it ever translate to the NHL? I'm not sure. Each passing year, it looks less and less likely to happen. But big boy, and I'm glad he's here. So there you have it. Tonight's Flyer prospect report is on Roman Schmidt, the recently acquired Flyers right-hand defenseman, is currently signed to the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, 6'5", 218 pounds. So. Guys, a little segue into the other half of this show. So I am going to say goodbye for about 5 seconds, but do not go anywhere because we're going to come right on back with some Flyers post game as we got clear the ice. So I'll see you in about 40 seconds. All right, welcome, Flyers fans, to the Clear the Ice Flyer postgame show here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network with your boy MattyB on the call. And yes, you might have remembered me from about 40 seconds ago on the final word. We're now going to segue into tonight's Flyers action. Flyers winners 4-1 down there at the arena after falling down 0-1 or 1-0 early on. Travis Konechny, Christian Dvorak each had a goal in this game and an assist, so each had multiple points for the Flyers in that win tonight. Carl Gunnarsson and Noah Cates also scored for the Flyers, who now improved to 16-9-3. They've won for the 5th time in their last 7 games. Dan Vladar, not challenged much, but was pretty solid after giving up that early goal, faced 17 shots. Colin Graff scored for San Jose, their lone goal. San Jose falls now to 14-14-3. They've lost now for their 3rd time over their last 4 games. Graff made it 1-0 at the onset of this game of the first period. It was on the first shot of the game for the Sharks, making his 3rd goal in 3 games. John Kinderberg faked out Vladar by drawing the goalie out of the left post. Instead of taking the shot, though, Kinderberg passed across the slot to Graff, who netted the one-timer. So it was a pretty ugly-looking goal if you're a Flyers fans, as Vladar looked a little bit out of sorts, but Vladar looked out of sorts. Christian Dvorak would tie the game for the Flyers at the 18:39 mark. Can't give up those late period goals, folks. You also can't give up those earlier period goals. They are such game changers. And the Flyers struck at the 18:39 mark of that first period as Christian Dvorak would tie the game, pushing the puck between the skates of Sharks defenseman Sam Dickinson before skating in and deking Nejavalik, the starting goalie tonight for the Sharks. Travis Konechny had the 2nd assist on the goal for his 500th career NHL point. Congratulations, Travis Konechny. Gunnarsson would put the Flyers ahead 2-1 at 3:20 of the 2nd period when he deflected a Nick Seeler shot from the blue line. It was Gunnarson's 1st goal of the season. Welcome to the stat sheet, man, and came in his 1st game against his former team. The Sharks traded Gunnarsson way back on October 5th. Cates' wrist shot found the back of the net at 19:48. Once again, can't give up those late period goals. They are such killers. That put the Flyers up 3-1. He settled a saucer pass from Bobby Brink on the rush to score from the left faceoff circle from distance. Konechny closed the scoring with an empty netter at the 18:17 mark of the 3rd, assisted by Christian Dvorak. The Sharks signed goalie Justin Kowalski to an amateur tryout on Tuesday to serve as Nedeljop's backup. Goalie Yaroslav Asarov was out because of an illness. So, wow, San Jose's got some tough goaltenders to say their names, but that was a 4-1 Flyer win. Some of the intangibles in this hockey game, the Flyers ended up painfully almost 2-1 in the shots there, 30-18. Flyers were over 2 on the power play, though. They were also 2-2 on killing penalties, which that's a very good sign, as this team has been shaky lately when it comes to the shorthanded side of things. They gave the puck up 10 times and they took it away 4 times tonight in the essence of winning. Out shooting San Jose 16-3 in the first period, 10-8 in the second. They were outshot 7-4 in the third, and that's how you get 4-1 and a big win for the Flyers tonight down there at the arena, as they sort of shaken off that game from the other night. So it is what it is. Are you accepting any guests? Absolutely. But not right now. I'm getting ready to sign off for the night. So, but typically, yes. So come back earlier and we will get you on the air. I promise. But yeah, so the Flyers with the win tonight, that means they'll set things up for Thursday night, as they'll be back in action against the Las Vegas Golden Knights down there at the arena. Still calling it the center. Mike Lotto has you on Thursday. Mike will have you again on Saturday, and I'll be back for Sunday Clear the Ice action. So fast and furious Clear the Ice tonight, but I got all the points out that I wanted to. Positive win for the Flyers against an opponent that they should beat. As you know, San Jose is not dreadful. I mean, 500 is not bad for a team that's been real bad, but trying to look for their identity as the Sharks are in a yearly rebuild. It seems like forever. But that's going to pretty much wrap up the Clear the Ice, and then in de facto wrap up the final word tonight. Listen, it's getting ugly and uglier by the day with this football team. It's time to make a change. It's time to look forward into 2026. For those out there still holding on that hope that 2025 still offers something, I think it's time for you to come to grips with the fact that the goal in 2025 will not be achieved. And unfortunately, you need to start looking ahead at different things. There's no way this team is winning a Super Bowl. There's no way that the Eagle dynasty will be born in 2025. And it's an opportunity that they wasted. It's an opportunity missed. Now, what do you do from this point forward? Obviously, the Eagles are not going to resign themselves, at least publicly, to say that the season's over. And maybe their actions with their personnel will tell you differently. But I don't need to be hit over the head 1,000 times to realize that the offense is just not good. And that offense is not going to change over the course of the next 4 games and into the playoffs. They are what they are, and they've been what they are for the past 4 years. They're led by a quarterback who is a game manager, who's a very effective quarterback when put in a situation that suits his style. Throwing the football 40 times a game does not suit his style. Saquon Barkley has been probably the biggest sign of just distress this all season. Saquon's down year has definitely led to this problem. The Saquon Barkley that we saw in 2024 is not here now. And will he ever come back? I don't know. Will he ever resemble anything like that again? I don't know. But now we're on the hook with him for a few more years with that contract. But that has been the biggest issue with this team this season. We can talk offensive line as well. Absolutely. There was not much done to support the offense in the offseason. All the support went to the defense for obvious reasons. They lost all the pieces. But to think heading into 2025 that this team was going to somehow continue down the same road if teams had figured out a way to stop Saquon Barkley, which they did in the Super Bowl, and then they spent the next 9 months trying to figure out even more, and which they did. And then having no fallback plan on what to do if Saquon could not be as equally effective as he was in 2024 is criminally negligent on the coaching staff and on the front office. What do you do in the future? I think an honest conversation needs to be had about either moving on from Nick Sirianni or Jalen Hurts. Is this team ever going to be able to win consistently with Jalen Hurts at the helm as quarterback with his limited skill set? Those are the questions the Eagles need to ask themselves. Those are the questions that Howard needs to ask himself as long as that guy has a job. Change needs to happen. Will it happen? I don't know. Are we going to get lied to again? Are we going to go with the excuse? And I can already see it in my crystal ball for the future. The excuse of the Philadelphia Eagles in 2026 will be, well, we're going to get the offensive line back healthy. We should be okay because the defense was okay. That's what the rally cry for 2026 is going to be from the homers. We'll have a healthy offensive line and we should be okay. And I hope that's not what happens. I hope real change is made. But unfortunately, I don't know if they're going to be committed to making real change. Just like I don't know if the Phillies are committed to making real change. And today's actions by signing Kyle Schwarber back to that 5-year contract scares the living crap out of me. That we're not going to change the DNA of this baseball team, but yet expect different results. It's not easy being green or red or blue or black or orange. It's not easy. It isn't. But that's what we get the big money for. But I'll be back tomorrow for a more of a concrete episode of The Final Word. We will get back into the card review. I know I promised it tonight. Time ran long. Can't do it tonight. But we'll get back into the card review. We'll get back into your of the night segments. We'll talk MLB hot stove. We'll continue the conversation about the Eagles. Continue the conversation about the Phillies. Will more dominoes fall? And what is the future of this baseball team? So I'll be back tomorrow night. Until then, you guys have yourself a great evening. Take care. Stay warm. It's cold as hell outside. And we'll see you tomorrow.